Good job with the roster. So the final rosters we have are...
Yeah, who's yours?
Let me pull this off real quick. So the final rosters we have is I've got Biggie, Jay-Z, Andre 3000, Ludacris, Mos Def, Black Thought, Ice Cube, Kanye West, Redman, Big Boy, Pusha T, and Chamillionaire.
In my 12, I had Pac, Eminem, Nas, Lil Wayne, Common, Scarface, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, Lauryn Hill, Method Man, Drake, and Rakim.
Kim, there's a lot of honorable mentions to go with that. So, yeah, that was fun. Yeah, that was a good time. So
that was everything I wanted it to be.
That was everything you wanted it to be. So,
yes, sir.
Let's get ready to go ahead and secure this beat and wrap this bad boy up with a bow on it. Let's talk about blow-up time. So, of course, being a sports show, sports pod, sports video, sports everything or whatnot, you got to have those moments where you get critical of teams and you start to blow everything up.
Mm-hmm.
So the NBA playoffs hitting. We're at a certain point now where there's some of these teams, they might need to start looking at starting from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to evaluate this annually because it does change every year when a team gets added to the list or taken off. But today, I'm going to talk about these ones that we need to go ahead and prepare ourselves for because... To be quite honest, some of these teams have gotten a lot of leash, and they have now started to choke themselves, and we need to go ahead and choke them fully out. So I have, let me pull it up. I got 4 teams that I feel like even they're in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I got 7 teams total that I feel like are candidates for blowing up.
That are in the playoffs?
No, 7 total.
Okay.
3 out the playoffs, 4 in the playoffs. And Jimmy, I want you to pick one of each.
Okay.
And who do you feel like should be a candidate for starting from scratch? Okay.
All right.
So here's the teams that we have. We have Minnesota Timberwolves, Phoenix Suns, and the Washington Wizards out of the non-playoff squads.
Mm-hmm.
In the playoffs, we have the Philadelphia 76ers, Boston Celtics, the Denver Nuggets, and the Portland Trailblazers.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so out of the non-playoff teams, those 3, who do you think it's time to go ahead and blow up, or do you want to add a team on there?
Oh no, I can go with the ones you got. And this is so easy. This is so simple. This is a layup on top of a dunk. The Washington Wizards. I mean, all I did was look at this list and looked at which team depressed me the most. Which team is everyone tired of watching? Which team went 1-7 in the bubble who didn't need to be there, didn't want to be there, nobody wanted them there? It's Washington. I think John Wall, they need to move him, and especially that hefty contract that he's been playing under for these last 2 injured seasons with more to go. I think Bradley Beal, he's one of my favorite, more underrated players. He's kind of in the Devin Booker class of not having gotten the proper respect he deserves, even though he's a phenomenal player. But I think that there's quite a lot you can get back for Bradley Beal. And it's obvious, no matter what he says, that he doesn't want to be there anyway. So that whole discussion, that whole media fiasco, one day is coming, if not next season, the season after that, where he forces himself out of town. So I say just get him out before you even have to go through that. Start over. You're terrible.
Wow.
But you got a piece to build around. Rui Hachimura. He's going to be a really solid player, in about 2 or 3 years.
But
blow it up. Blow it up.
Really, 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 really good.
Yeah.
He's probably one of my favorites. Oh, so for me, I have to slide Minnesota down on the list only because they did just trade. They basically blew up their roster by sending Andrew Wiggins to L.A. for D'Angelo Russell. So now Cat has a point guard that he's close to overall that could potentially make them work out a lot better than what they have. So we'll see how that works out. But outside of that, I am with you. I think Washington is the number 1 candidate on this of blowing it up. John Wall hasn't played in a year and a half. Going on 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's going to be ready to play in December, if they restart the season in December or January. No. That's going to be a very, very good question. But as much as Bradley Beal says he wants to be there, I don't see it either. I think it's time for him to go ahead and just get out. The roster's not conducive to winning. And as Bomani Jones has mentioned, the Washington Wizards has not won 50 games in his lifetime. And Bo's 40. So I went back and looked. He ain't lying. They ain't hit 50 wins in a season.
Oh, that's not a joke.
No, that was like dead A serious.
So he wasn't laughing when he said it.
No, that was the point. They've never hit it.
That's what's up.
So that's a problem. if your team can't hit 50 wins with all the talent that's gone through there over the last 40 years.
They even had Michael Jordan for a couple of seasons.
And they could not hit 50
You can't win
wins.
with MJ. You can't win with anybody.
So, yeah, at this point, Washington, blow it up, start from scratch. Just be a ceiling dweller and be done with it. Or, just bottom of the barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Call it a day. So, all right. So, playoff teams. If these teams don't make it deep in the playoffs, who do you feel like should be the one that's the biggest candidate for blow up?
Mm-hmm.
You got Philly,
Okay.
you got Boston, you got Denver, and you got Portland.
Portland, no, because Dame loves it there. Celtics, no, because they're young and they have a two-headed tandem of superstars, soon-to-be superstars together, not even counting Kemba Walker. And I think the Nuggets are solid, and Michael Porter Jr. could be the cornerstone of that team, along with, they're all young. Jokic is young, Murray is young, and they all enjoy playing there. So, no, it's got to be the 76ers because sometimes – and I had this philosophy professor who would say the majority is always wrong, meaning if the majority of people think one way, the truth or the most logical point of view is probably on the opposite end. Mm-hmm. But in this case, and I think that way about a lot of things, but in this case, absolutely not. Everybody is saying the Sixers don't work. They need to move either Embiid or Simmons, and they are absolutely right. As far as which one they should move, I'm not sure exactly, but this isn't work. It's not so much that they need to move one of them. And it's not even a culture of the team thing. It just has something to do with their style of play, which I guess would be specific to who you have on your roster. So reshaping the roster can reshape the way that you play, but the way that they play just doesn't work. It doesn't work in the East, and it's not going to work against the West. So it's the 76ers. Blow it up.
Blowing up.
Burn it all.
All right, burn it all, huh?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, I'm there. So I have a difference of opinion when it comes to a lot of these. So Boston, I agree. They're still young. They just got Kemba Walker, so there's not really a reason to blow them up yet.
It's not urgent. Not yet.
They haven't hit their big they're about to hit their big contracts next year.
How many years do you give them before you blow it up? Boston.
I'll give them to the end of who did the extension first? Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's extension.
Okay.
So I give them 4 more years.
Fair. That's fair.
I can give them that just because of youth. We'll go with the youth aspect of it. Denver, similarly, they are still in a way young. The problem I have with Denver is that they keep being a top seed that no one's afraid of. That to me is a problem. That means that you're not a threat.
Right.
No one believes in you.
Because in professional sports, fear is a commodity. You have to have it.
You have to
you cannot
fear.
win without it.
And without seeing Denver ever have fear in anybody's eyes, that tells me that they may be one of the better candidates. But the best candidate on this entire list is Portland.
Ooh.
Portland is the number one on this list.
Okay.
Their 2 best players, Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, are under 6'3". And it seems like as they get further into the playoffs, they get demolished harder every time. They need another wing. So it needs to be either McCollum or Lillard needs to be gone. They need to get themselves a younger wing. They probably need to trade one of them to Boston and get Gordon Hayward. Jaylen Brown or Tatum. Get someone else that can carry the load and have one of those two as the complement to that player. That would, to me, accelerate their opportunities to be competitive in the West, because they're playing in the West and you're going against LeBron James and Anthony Davis. If you feel like you're going to get past, which we're going to find out very soon, what it looks like for the Blazers to go against LeBron James and Anthony Davis without the additional pieces that they're going to get, plus Kyle Kuzma, we'll see what Portland's going to actually look like and what they're made of. I don't think that they're the team to beat them. And when Golden State comes back, they're not going to come back 100%, but 75% of Golden State's shooting ability is better than what Portland is.
So it's not so much that – so here's what I'm gathering. What I'm learning from this is to blow up a team, it really takes 2 reasons. Either you're horribly bad, you always have been, you're always going to be, or what you're doing is not working. So with Portland, it's not that they're bad. With the basketball,
it's just ain't working.
Yeah, it's just not working.
It's not that they're a bad team. They almost didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And their excuse was, well, we didn't have Nurkic. You have your 2 best players should be able to carry you to the playoffs without your best big man.
That's true.
That's my argument behind them. And that's no shade to either one of them, because I think they're both phenomenal players and I think they're both impactful players. The problem is those 2 aren't scary enough for teams to fold over. Like you said, fear is a commodity. That's a commodity they don't have. Yes, Carmelo is stepping up. Mad props to him recognizing his role. But at the same time, Carmelo Anthony puts no fear in anybody's heart anymore. Hell, when he's in Oklahoma City, he was getting his shot blocked by people shorter than him. You know what I'm saying? He just can't get up like he was. They're not as bad as Denver to me when it comes to not being feared.
Because they have Dame.
Because of Dame.
Yeah.
But Dame has to petition to get himself on all-star teams only because there are so many good point guards in the West.
Right.
No shade to Dame. I hate that I like Dame so much. I want to not like him, but I like him a lot. He's one of my favorite people to watch play, like Russ. But the issue you run into again is that nothing about Portland scares me when I watch them matched up to any other team. Them versus Denver, yeah, at that point I'm scared of Portland. But outside of that, them matched up against anybody else in the West, no fear.
Let me give you a quick wrinkle going back to Portland and the Lakers being in the first round. You remember how we always used to say that the only player who looked like a good matchup for LeBron and could give him trouble was Carmelo Anthony?
Yes.
Do you think that aspect is going to register or have a difference when it comes to guarding him, given that they're both older, he's much slimmer? Do you think that that's going to matter, or his knowledge and experience of guarding LeBron going to make a difference?
Jimmy, Carmelo Anthony is 6 months older than LeBron. They are the same height, and they weigh about the exact same weight. Probably at this point, Carmelo's lighter.
Yeah.
And Carmelo plays like he's 10 years older than LeBron James. That tells you something, right? Think about it. Think about that. Melo is 6 months older than LeBron. Actually, to be exact, it's like 7. LeBron was born in December. I think Melo's born in May. They're very close in age. There's no reason that Carmelo Anthony should not look like LeBron does. The reason he doesn't is because we all know why. He doesn't take care of himself like you would hope a guy like him. Carmelo was one of the most transcendent scoring guys I had ever seen play, especially when he's in Denver. He was ridiculous. At Syracuse, he was ridiculous. Carmelo has all the tools to be the guy to carry the Blazers through the playoffs. He ain't there yet. Now, next year, if he decides to stay on this pace and keep taking care of himself, maybe.
Jay, you're being unfair. You're being unfair to Carmelo.
Okay, I'm being unfair.
You want me to tell you why you're being unfair?
Why?
Because you can't compare anyone to the freak athleticism in the body of LeBron James. That's like you put a running back next to Adrian Peterson, who's the exact same age, and he looks nothing like Adrian Peterson, and you say, why don't you look like that? You can look like that. No, you can't. Adrian Peterson looked like that when he was 12. LeBron James looked like that when he was 13. These are freak athletes. Jimmy, you can't compare guys to them. That's not fair. You're being unfair.
Jimmy,
fair. You're not being fair.
I'm being. It's not fair, Jimmy. I'm being fair. And
Tell me how.
This is how I'm being fair.
How are you being fair?
Did you watch Carmelo Anthony at Syracuse?
I did.
Did you watch how he carried that team through the NCAA tournament to win a national championship?
Yes.
Him and Akeem Warwick. The way that he played out there, the way he was dominant, the way that nobody could stop him. You see the way he played when he was in Denver? You saw as he got older, he got worse. Carmelo Anthony, to me, freakishly can be a LeBron. It's all about one thing, the will to want to be. If Carmelo had taken care of his body like LeBron did,
he could have
freakish.
He could have a better body, but that would not make him LeBron.
Oh, yeah,
LeBron. You see how LeBron can still fly through the air? Melo has never been able to do that.
Oh, Melo been able to
He's a jump shooter.
Folks.
He's a perimeter guy.
He was yamming on people in his younger days.
He's 6'8". He can dunk on you, but he ain't finna just.
Oh, I've seen him cock back on folks. The problem is that Carmelo is out of shape on a regular basis, and that's the one thing you can try to argue all you want with me on it. But I'm gonna tell you, all day, every day, is that if Carmelo Anthony cared about his body as much as he does about strippers and liquor, I promise you, Carmelo would be so.
This is so surprising.
Legit.
You were always a bigger Melo guy than I was, and I never hated him.
Oh yeah.
So this surprises me that I'm the one who's defending him against the physique of LeBron, and that's the very reason why you're going at him.
Size-wise, man.
He can never have that.
He could have it. If he wanted it, he could have it. At the money that he got, he can't.